Did you know that your self-esteem has a huge impact on how happy you feel in a relationship? It's true! Research has shown a link between good self-esteem and relationship satisfaction. Self-esteem doesn't just affect how we think of ourselves, but also how much love we're able to receive in a relationship and how we treat our partners. So, what exactly does that mean when you have high or low self-esteem in a relationship? This could all start before you even get yourself in a relationship. That is because your past experiences and the way you see yourself can shape how we handle bumps and hiccups. If you have high self-esteem before the relationship, it is much easier to navigate the challenges that occur. Even when things aren't all sunshine and rainbows, you actually tend to stay happier and more fulfilled overall. On the other hand, if you have low self-esteem to begin with, it is much tougher to deal with the challenges, and that could lead the connection to fade away. Of course, there are other elements that decide the success of a relationship, like communication skills, your emotional state, or stress, but your self-esteem can go unnoticed, but has a huge impact on how happy you can be in a relationship.
Let me explain more on how self-esteem develops. Our self-esteem develops as we grow from childhood to adulthood. We build the image of ourselves through experiences from people around us. We first start forming our self-esteem as a child. Our successes, our failures, and how we're treated by family, even by teachers, mentors, and our friends, all contribute to a foundation in the shaping of our basic self-esteem. Now here's an example. If you grew up in a dysfunctional family, you might have experienced situations where you feel like you haven't had a voice. There's no room for your opinions or needs to be heard or taken seriously. In dysfunctional families, skills for a healthy relationship and communication are often lacking. When parents are mean, dismissive, or overly controlling, it can make you as a child feel bad about your feelings and who you are. When a child feels alone and unloved, unfortunately, they think that they are to blame. This makes them feel really ashamed of themselves. So that means if you often felt scared, worried, or mad as a child, you might have unconsciously developed an image of yourself that is, I'm not important to others, or I'm unworthy of love.
Now let's see if you have high self-esteem or low self-esteem by paying attention to your communication style. As you probably guessed, if you have high self-esteem, you tend to have a healthy communication style. What that means is you're able to speak assertively and clearly. You can listen well to your partner even when your opinions differ or you're in conflict. Expressing needs and wants is not difficult for you, and you're able to set healthy boundaries. If you have low self-esteem, you often struggle with assertiveness and expressing your emotions and needs. You tend to suppress your thoughts to avoid anger, criticism, and abandonment. Instead, you might choose more indirect ways of communication, like shaming, blaming, controlling your partner by anger. This is because your needs are still there even with low self-esteem, but you have simply stopped voicing them out. So it still gets frustrating for you when people don't read into it or fulfill your needs. Now, it might not be necessarily all black or white. A lot of people actually experience these traits from low self-esteem tendency more in a relationship. That is because when we are in a serious relationship, we have more possible opportunities to fulfill our basic needs, which is to be loved. However, if you have low self-esteem, you will never feel loved enough, so it seems like the problem just suddenly start to happen, especially as your relationship progresses.
Now, let's talk about how it shows up in an adult relationship. The first thing you might see is emotional unavailability. When your partner keeps showing affection, but you seem to be able to never receive it fully. This cycle can drain them. You may also be jealous of your partner's attention to others, and you call and text a lot, even when asked not to. By always trying to get reassurance, you unintentionally push your partner further away. People can only give so much while not feeling acknowledged for what they're doing. This dynamic can make your partner feel like what they do is never good enough, and possibly drive them to give up or create more emotional unavailability in the relationship. This could leave both you and your partner unhappy, and eventually the relationship could just fall apart. Another effect that goes unnoticed from time to time is that you might be hurting your partner more than you think you are. For people with low self-esteem, there's an idea that there's no way that you can hurt your partner that much because you don't mean that much to them. So when you are frustrated, you might say things that are really hurtful or do things that are inconsiderate to your partner. But you think your partner cannot possibly be bothered by it. This is all because you think you don't matter enough to them. But in reality, they probably are hurt by your words or actions. One more thing that happens often in relationships with low self-esteem is that you're seeing things through your own colored lens. You naturally think that the world's view of you is how you view yourself. Let me give you an example. If you think all men do not care about your feelings, you might think that that is how all men truly feel. When that is your expectation, you could go into a situation with the attitude of defensiveness and assuming your feelings aren't going to be heard anyways. So when you're in conflict with your partner, communicating about your emotions can get twisted because all of the defensiveness and passive aggressiveness that you just naturally come into the conversation with. This would definitely complicate the message, and your partner could be responding to the way that you're communicating, not necessarily your true feelings behind it. As a result, the conversation gets heated, and your feelings aren't heard, and your belief of my feelings do not get validated by men feels confirmed to you. Just like that, the cycle continues. So when you have low self-esteem, you could take things personally by seeing them through your colored lens, mostly with a negative twist. And that leads to frequent conflicts.
Another reason why high self-esteem is important for your relationship. It's because true intimacy requires self-esteem. When you have low self-esteem, you tend to keep your real feelings to yourself to avoid causing trouble or feeling like your feelings don't matter. This can make it hard to have real close relationships. As humans, we all want to feel independent but also connected to others. A healthy relationship needs both, and this balance depends on self-esteem. Self-esteem lets you trust yourself so you can stand on your 2 feet. True intimacy comes from emotional bonding. To create a deep emotional bond, it takes courage. The courage to share your true feelings and needs even if you are scared of being criticized or rejected. Then how can we get this kind of courage? Well, it comes from self-acceptance. If you accept yourself, it is much more believable for you to think that you deserve love. And this can also allow you to be more comfortable receiving it. That means you will no longer push away someone who genuinely loves you. Nor you will not waste time trying to change someone that's not available. And most of all, you will definitely be able to fulfill both your and your partner's needs so that you can build a connection that's deeper, healthier, and make the relationship last.
Now, we have a better understanding of how self-esteem is important to having a happy, healthier relationship. The next step is to proactively build your self-esteem. And here's how you can do it. Since our foundation of how our basic self-esteem is shaped gets developed in childhood, it is a deep-rooted feeling, and healing can take work. However, there are things that you can do to help reduce the shame, build self-esteem, and improve your relationship. In fact, because self-esteem is a learned skill, you can actively work to improve it. Connecting with a therapist is a great way to work on this relationship issue. Research shows that when one person raises their self-esteem, it improves the relationship for both partners. We love working with a couples coach to set the goals and work towards it together while we still work with a therapist individually to help address our traumas and insecurities. The changes from individual therapy can often make the relationship happier and healthier. Even if your partner doesn't want to engage in therapy or the relationship remains difficult, you would be better equipped to manage it or make decisions about its future, so we definitely recommend it.
Let us know down in the comments your experience on this, and don't miss out on any more tips by smashing that like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell. See you soon!